Hi there, Victor Oliver back, this time not talking about any astrological forecast today, but introducing you to my website if you're not familiar with it. So it is a self-promotional video in a way, but I thought it's quite interesting and important if you are interested in consulting me, or any astrologer for that matter, that I'd introduce you to my website just to show you what to expect and guide you around it. Now I'm going to share my screen with you. You go to victoroliver.co.uk. Bear in mind that my surname has two L's. So it's victoroliver.co.uk. I'll repeat that at the end. So this is my website. It is in a sense a shop window, but it's also an area to learn a bit more about astrology. What astrology sets out to do. You can learn about my background, very much in journalism. Believe it or not, I was originally trained to be a lawyer. Can you imagine? Me in a wig. But anyway, there's quite a lot here to have a look at, to glance at, if you like. As you see here, there's the shop. We'll come back to the legal notice in a minute. There's a contact sheet. Star sign section for your year ahead, that's free. And I also have a YouTube channel where this video will end up as well. Let's have a look at the legal notice. Anybody who wants to consult me as an astrologer, I do ask them to read this legal notice, because what it does is to set out clearly what you're buying and on what terms. And one of the things to understand is that I'm not claiming, nor do most astrologers claim, to offer scientific certainties. Science is not half as certain as you might imagine. We could discuss that. We've only got to see what's happening with the coronavirus thing at the moment, scientists disputing this, that, and the other amongst themselves. But so far as astrology is concerned, it's not a science, but what it is a, for want of a better word, a mystical tool. It's a divinatory tool. It's rooted in symbolism. And the theory of astrology holds that somehow or other there is within us the capacity to look deeper within the life, within ourselves, almost to, in a sense, sidestep the issue of time and go beyond certain barriers and link ourselves to certain truths as determined by the horoscope. What you're buying from me is the work it takes to cast the chart. What you're not buying is guaranteed outcomes. Some people will come to me and say, what's going to happen in July? You can offer a service of outcomes, but the client needs to understand that it requires their interactivity to understand and recognize what's being said. But my practice is not about guaranteeing outcomes. It's about understanding the self better, certainly understanding one's life, the trends and where those trends might take you. We have free will. And if there is free will, no one can offer an absolute certainty. Although there is a system of astrology called horary, where questions can be asked specifically for yes/no answers. But that's another matter. But in general, forecasting astrology and character analysis, you're paying for the work done. Once you've looked at the legal notice, well, you can plenty of free things to look at here, like my YouTube channel, but there's also the shop. Unlike many practitioners in astrology, I actually set out clearly the services that I offer. It saves an awful lot of time, and it gives you the option to think about things, because also there's the price. And the most popular service I'm offering at the moment is the Draconic Life Purpose Chart. Just click the image and a description comes up as to what you're getting with the price and everything. Payments through PayPal, it gives you buyer and seller guarantees, so there's no danger of you losing should for some reason you don't get what you paid for. That's never going to happen, of course, unless I drop dead. But in any case, you're guaranteed a reimbursement by PayPal, okay? But the life purpose chart is quite a very interesting area of astrology, where We determine the life themes, the spiritual purpose of your life, and so forth. It's quite a layered chart. It's a written report. And as I say, it's very, very popular with quite a waiting list for that. Another season, one that's seasonally popular for obvious reasons is my Christmas horoscope present. This is designed really for your partner, for your best friend, whatever, for maybe a business partner, as a corporate gift even. But as with all the services, I do need the birth data. That means, and in confidence, you supply me with the day, the month, the year of birth, with the time, preferably. Britain is a bit problematic in that respect, in that people only tend to have a general idea of when they were born. But nonetheless, time of birth helps. And of course, location of birth is vital too, because it's a mathematical formula that produces the horoscope. And that formula is based on your birth data. I do Zoom consultations. The most basic, if you're not familiar with astrology and you want to give it a sample, a taster, if you like, then I do the introductory birth chart analysis. That'll give you a pretty good idea of what astrology can tell you about you. But then there's the fuller analysis, and then there's the analysis in a one-year forecast. Another popular service is the solar return. That's a birthday chart based on where the planets are at the next birthday or the present birthday. And of course, the planets will be in a different place from where they were at the actual moment of your birth. But that gives me a sense of the year ahead, the sort of general theme. It gives the big picture. It's not meant to be a detailed exploration. If you want a detailed exploration, a monthly breakdown of your year, then you need to look at the one-year forecast option. Synastry offers compatibility reports. Synastry is a system of astrology where two charts get compared. Often I'm approached by a married person or somebody who's contemplating entering into a relationship or deepening a relationship and wants to know what's the likelihood of success. Well, to some extent, the astrologer can help by giving the perspective from the planets and looking at the sort of aspects between the charts. But of course, all relationships require give and take. And the extent to which you're prepared to give and take is the greatest determinant of success in a relationship, quite aside from any other consideration. But occasionally you come across charts which are not terribly promising, to put it politely. And then there are other charts where the two people are certainly well matched. But there's no such thing as a guarantee. You can't guarantee these things. We have free will, remember, and astrology does not compromise your free will. It just offers you another perspective, shall we say. It's up to you what you do with it and what to do with the insights it offers. The launch time service is quite specialized. It's called electional astrology. You might want to get married. You might want to launch a business. I was recently approached by a nightclub owner for the best, well, actually about 2 years ago, a nightclub owner asked me to come up with the best date for a launch. So I gave precise time, and they're still going quite strong despite COVID-19, would you believe? There's also an interesting system of astrology which identifies areas of the world which are good for you professionally, romantically, and in other ways. Philosophically, you take the birth chart and apply its energies to the globe. The deluxe package, the premium package, if you like, is my bumper astro, and essentially I become your personal advisor for a while, and you get a vast array of reports. And also access via Zoom if you have any particular questions. And that's really been taken up more by business people, but it's open to anybody if you feel you would like to have your own personal advisor. Just to show you something else too, I've got my own YouTube channel. If you go to YouTube, just bung in Victor Oliver, 2 L's, and you'll see a load of videos, some of them under the name Beach Bum Astrologer, because I'm walking on the beach. I live virtually on the beach here just look across the road and there's the sea. And here, the latest video is my forecast about the Pope making a controversial announcement in October. So that's it. It's victoroliver.co.uk. I'll stop the share now. Welcome back to the palace, in which perhaps I don't live in. But there we are. It's all element of illusion here. But I hope that helps you to better understand at least how to approach my type of astrology. There are plenty of other astrologers out there. You've only got to look up on Google. But beware of astrologers who make outlandish promises that your luck's about to change, that your love life's going to pick up, that you're going to grow rich just by consulting the astrologer. There are plenty of people out there making these wild claims, and they are to be avoided at all costs. There is the APAI, which is a professional body, professional astrologers, and they have a list of recommendations. They're called the Association of Professional Astrologers International, and it's quite difficult to become a member of that organization. Basically, each member has to demonstrate that they have a diploma or some other qualification from a registered school, registered with the APAI. So if you know nothing about astrology, then go to the professional astrologers, and you can Google it. You'll find the website soon enough. And there are plenty of other organizations around the world that offer a service of recommending astrologers who have qualifications. And while I'm not saying that qualifications is the be all and end all of a good astrologer, it's a good starting point, because at least you can be certain the astrologer is versed in the subject. And it took me 2 years, more than 2 years actually, to get my diploma, because before that, I studied for the certificate from the Mayo School of Astrology. I was lucky to have the tutor, Wendy Stacey, who runs the Mayo School of Astrology. And I certainly do recommend that you give some thought as to who you consult. Don't just consult somebody because they're making outlandish promises about changing your luck and all that nonsense. An astrologer is a consultant, and sometimes they will have to tell you things that you don't necessarily want to hear. But that doesn't include death or anything like that. But sometimes there are challenges to face. I mean, if you think about 2020, when we had the Saturn-Pluto conjunction in Capricorn, many astrologers were forecasting that 2020 would be a very challenging year. But the other great thing about astrology is that it can also offer you the route map beyond the problem. And sometimes certain problems are not easily solved, not easily navigated. So having someone to help you through it from another perspective, not just peddling mirrored nonsense, but actually telling you something that stands outside of your experience, but which you can relate to through symbolism, that can help you to some extent better understand yourself, better understand why you're going through a certain experience, and where you're going next, okay? So I hope that's given you some sense of astrology. It's quite a subject. And as I say, there are plenty of other astrologers out there, many of them really great, wonderful people, and wanting to help you, okay? So I hope that this has given you some idea of where we're coming from. Thank you for listening, and I'll talk to you again soon. Bye-bye.